Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are right now. My name is Solomon Jeremiah. Today, what I will be doing is I would be taking you through Copilot and we'll be doing a lot of stuff. So before I start, I'm just going to share my screen so you can see exactly what I have on my screen. So let me share my screen. Okay, I guess you can see my screen now. If you can see my screen, you can just give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Thank you. So, like I said earlier, my name is Solomon Jeremiah. I'm a Microsoft MVP, and I'm also a Microsoft certified trainer. Today, I would be continuing from the series we've been learning about since the beginning of this cohort, and I would be exploring some of the stuffs we can do using Copilot. Let me just go to the beginning of my slide, but before I go to the topic we have for today, I want us to just go through the housekeeping rules. I know we've been joining the meeting from the beginning of the cohort, so we should already be familiar with this, but then we just need to go through it. This session will be recorded and will be made available for future viewing. Please mute your microphone when you're not talking. Pen down your question until the question and answer session. Follow Text Dialer on social media handles, then subscribe to the YouTube channel. So I'll go next. Now, these are the codes of conduct. For the code of conduct, we have encourage respectful listening, avoid blame, speculation, inflammatory language, allow everyone a chance to speak, avoid assumption about others, mainly based on their perspective, social group, increase participation and the sharing of ideas and perspectives, promote openness to points of view and increase learning, prevent conflict and misunderstanding, manage problems before and as they occur, build trust and a sense of safety among group participants, criticize ideas, not individual, commit to learning, not debating, listen respectfully and actively. So these are the code of conduct. So I will go next. So today, this is what our agenda is going to be. I would be doing more of, exploring all of the capability as we are talking. I will just give you a small slide because most of the stuffs we'll be doing more of hands-on, like we're going to see how this works. So the first agenda is just according to how my slide is. We are going to be exploring Microsoft 365 Copilot features. We'll be looking at the features. We are looking at the impact of Microsoft 365 on productivity, and then we would have an interactive session. So let's go to the next slide. Let me just hit it one more time. Okay, so I know some of the stuff you might see right now is probably something you're familiar with. Probably Joseph must have mentioned it, or the previous people that took the topic from the beginning. So if we look at this slide, we will see that Microsoft 365 Copilot is a powerful artificial intelligence tool designed to enhance your productivity and streamline your daily tasks. Copilot is an intelligent assistant integrated into Microsoft 365 applications, providing you with real-time support and insight. Whether you're drafting emails, creating documents, or managing your calendar, Copilot can help you work smarter and more efficient. So from this slide, I think one thing I always tell people when it comes to using AI, and one thing I actually like about the name Copilot is because the name is actually telling you that the AI is not the pilot. You're just, it's like an assistant. You're having someone to assist you. So when we're talking about artificial intelligence, most people feel like just dump everything. The AI is going to think for you, do all the stuff for you. But I tell people the best way to use AI is seeing AI as your partner. When I say your partner, you're doing the work, but then you're trying to work smarter with the AI tool. That's exactly the best way to use it. And if you read through the first sentence or the paragraph I read, you would see that we had places where I say Copilot is an intelligent assistant. That means it is assisting you. It is not taking the job. You're doing the job, but then Copilot is assisting you with it. And if you still read further, you will still see where we have work smarter and more efficiently. So most people, they find it hard to adopt AI because they see AI from a different angle. But I tell people, if you want to work smarter and more efficiently, Copilot is there to do the job for you. And today, what we'll be doing, we'll be exploring how we can, work with Copilot, how we can work smart. And when we are looking at all of this, we'll look at what we can do when we are using Copilot in M365 apps. So M365, we have different apps. We have Outlook, we have our Word, we have the Excel, we have the PowerPoint, and even the browser, Edge browser, we still have that, right? We want to see how can we use the features that we get from Microsoft 365 Copilot. So one of the key benefits of Copilot is its ability to understand and respond to natural language queries. You ask Copilot to perform a task, and then it gives you the information, right? So what this is actually saying is you can actually tell Copilot, hey, this is what I want you to do, and then you're getting a response from Copilot. All of this we'll see as we are going on in this training. So you can ask Copilot to perform tasks, find information, or provide a recommendation just by typing or speaking your request. So you can type, or you can choose to, hit the mic icon and speak, and then Copilot is going to help you perform the task. For example, you can ask Copilot to summarize a lengthy document, find relevant emails, or draft a response for you. So these are some of the stuffs we are going to explore as we are working today. So the next part is Microsoft 365 Copilot transform work in 3 meaningful ways. The first is unleashing creativity. So Copilot helps you create content faster and more efficiently. We are going to probably we'll go to PowerPoint, and then when we go to PowerPoint, probably we have a presentation to make in the next 4 hours, and then we don't have anything ready. We can actually draft something, tell Copilot what we want, and then Copilot can actually create a presentation for us. We might have like a document of what our presentation should look like. We can import it into Copilot, and then Copilot is going to help us with actually creating the presentation, the different slides. It will add the images we want. And if we don't like the images, we can still go back to Copilot and still tell Copilot, oh, generate this type of image for us. So we can do all of that. Now we have unlock productivity. Copilot helps you focus on what matters the most. So if you're actually working with Copilot, right, instead of, going through just sometimes, okay, let me just use an example. You might have a long meeting, and when you have that long meeting, you can just use Copilot to get notes from the meeting. And what is Copilot going to do? It's just going to pick the key points, the summary of the meeting, and that you can actually use it. You're not going to spend time going to listen to the full meeting to get what was discussed when you were not in the meeting. Copilot can help you get a summary. Even if you're in the meeting and you just want to follow up with what was discussed, you can actually get a summary of everything using Copilot. Now, we have improved skills. So Copilot makes you better at what you are good at and helps you quickly master what you have yet to learn. So earlier I said the name is Copilot. That means you have to, be the one telling Copilot, hey, this is the task I want you to perform. You're the one that will be taking the lead. It's just that Copilot is going to make it easier for you. So if you're looking at improved skills, when you know what you want to do, you can easily reach out to Copilot, and then Copilot will actually make that stuff more better for you. So, for example, you can write an email. You probably know how to write an email. You're a content creator and all of that. You could create your content. That's what you do. You can go to Copilot, feed it with that content and tell it you want it to either rewrite it, reduce the length, and Copilot will help you do it better. And then that way you can, get the best part of what you do. And then you can also learn more from, the response you're getting from Copilot. It could also, improve your skill set on what you already know. So we have users enter a prompt in Copilot, and Copilot responds with AI-generated information. Yes, we are going to see that. The response are in real time and can include internet-based content and work content that users have permissions to access. So when we log into Copilot, we are going to also see the parts where we can chat, and we have options to either use work or we're going to be using the internet. Now for work, basically what you can do, you can search for content within your organization. And when you're searching for those content within your organization, you need to have access to those content. And when you just think about having multiple documents, PDF, and you just want Copilot to assist you with looking for PDF that is talking about finance in the organization, Copilot would search for those documents for you. And then you can even choose to compare the different documents. You can tell Copilot, oh, I can see you have this PDF, you have this PDF, and all of this PDF, they're about finance. Can you compare both documents for me? Copilot can help you do the comparison, but those documents and information that you're actually dealing with, they are within your organization. And if you want to search for content outside the organization, maybe you want to search for more information on the internet, you have the option of switching to that as well. Then we have users get content relevant to their work tasks and in the context of Microsoft 365 apps they are using. Yes, so this is the second slide, and let me just go to the last. I think this should be the last, and then we would go into the demo, because what I'll be doing here, this might not really be the long training. It might just be a short training, but then we'll just be touching the key features, what we can do with Copilot with M365 apps. So I have this definition here, and this is what is Microsoft 365 Copilot. So Microsoft 365 Copilot represents a new paradigm in work where employees collaborate with AI for increased productivity. Copilot addresses the modern challenge where the pace of work is overtaking our ability to keep up. So sometimes, work can actually be taxing and then you're trying to keep up, but then you have Copilot. Imagine going through multiple emails or trying to go through videos, recording you had with clients just to get some points. All of those tasks are reduced because you have Copilot doing it for you. Microsoft 365 Copilot is designed to transform how we work in the digital age. So this is the digital age, and then how we work. Microsoft 365 is helping us, trying to transform how we work. Now, when we look at the examples, these examples is just basically telling us, what we do with the M365 apps, the actions that we take. Now, if we're looking at the actions there, you'll see we have for Outlook, summarize the content of a large email thread. So for Outlook, right, we can actually summarize a thread. We have different email threads back and forth. We can summarize it using Copilot. We can also use it to draft emails, right? We can pull emails from other people, and then we can also, create a draft and respond to a particular email using Copilot. We also have PowerPoint where we can create a PowerPoint slide presentation based on a report. Now we can have a report and then we want to create a slide based on that report. We can tell Copilot to, help us create the slide. Now, we also have the Word. We can write paragraph in different tone or style. So if you have a Word document, you can say, hey, I want Copilot to generate text, and also say, okay, we want it to be formatted in a different way. We can also do that using Copilot. Then we have for Teams. So for Teams, I always tell people there's a lot you can actually do for Teams. Some of the applications are not yet, but for Teams, you can summarize meetings and chat threads. So if you have a chat with someone, you can actually go through the chats that you have. And when you're summarizing chats in Teams, it can go up to 30 days. So if you are doing chat summary in Teams, just have in mind that it's going to go up 30 days when you're doing the summary. And you cannot reference content outside of that Teams chat. So if I have a chat with you and I'm trying to use Copilot, I cannot use Copilot to reference a chat that is outside of the chat, one-on-one chats that we are having. So we also have Excel. We can also use Copilot for Excels. For our Excel document, we can use it to get formulas. We can create charts with Copilot on our Excel sheet. So these are some of the features that we can use. There are lots more, like a lot more that we can use when it comes to using Copilot in M365. Microsoft 365 Copilot can help you change the way that we work, transforming our everyday tasks into opportunities for growth and innovation. So now that is just me trying to introduce what Microsoft 365 Copilot is all about. I'm going to pull my browser over there now and I would start. So let me pull this here. So one thing we also need to understand is, I know I've been talking about we using AI. One very important thing is we need to also know how we use the prompt when we are using prompts. It is also very important we know how to use the prompt. So if we are using a prompt, we should always, have a goal, right? The goal we are looking at is, what do we want from Copilot? Like we are asking ourselves, what do we want, right? If I probably need an email that is talking about um, the onboarding of a new client, then I should be saying, hey, I need an email that is talking about the onboarding of a new client and all the information that was passed. We can just we just need to, specify exactly what we want. That's the goal. We are saying this is what we want. We know what we want. Then we are also looking at the context, right? When we are looking at the context, we are asking ourselves, why do we need it and who is involved, right? So if I am probably saying I'm looking for emails that had to do with onboarding association, what I would also be looking at is, since I'm looking for emails that has to do with onboarding association, the context is, I'm going to probably say, okay, I want to use it to prepare a review for the board members, right? I'm actually saying, okay, this is what I want, and this is the context of what I need this particular information for. Then we're also looking at the expectations, right? The expectation is, how do we want our response to look like from Copilot, right? Are we trying to make the tone professional? Are we trying to make it just a simple tone? So we're also looking at this when we are making our prompts. And when we are doing this, we are also thinking of the information source. Which information source should Copilot use? So when we are trying to create prompts on Copilot, we need to consider the goals, the context, the expectation, and then the source. Those are the important things we need to look at when we are using Copilot. Now, what I would do is I would be connecting to Copilot. So I'm going to type it. I'm already logged in. So I will just type Copilot. Oh, okay. Copilot.microsoft.com. So this is what I will type. Now, when I type this, okay, it's showing that I'm not signed in. So, but when I type this now, you can see it's giving me the option for personal and then work. Now, if you go to your browser, Bing, right? Let me just show you this. I think I should have one. So let me bring this. So this is me opening Edge browser. Sorry, not Bing. Once I go to Edge browser and I'm clicking on Copilot here, it gives me this. Now I can do charts and all of that, but this is just the one that is free and is open. It has nothing to do with your organization. So, but when we connect to the one that has to do with work, which is this, you'll see I have this interface. So once you are using the Copilot that you subscribe for, you would notice this interface. And when you notice this interface, you will see you have the work and the web. The web is the internet. That's open to the internet. You can search for anything you're searching for, you can search for it outside of the internet. Sorry, outside of the organization, which is the internet. But for work, you're searching for information within your organization. And most times, if you search for information and they are not in your organization, you would still get some answers that, probably I'm asking what is Microsoft Copilot. I'll still get an answer, even if I don't have the information in my organization. I will still get answers. But this part of work is more focused on your internal organization. Now, for most organizations, you would see that they have Copilot. Most organizations that don't use Copilot, you see they use ChatGPT and other AI tool. And some organizations, they restrict using those AI tool. And the reason they do that is because they don't want their data to be used in training the AI. They're trying to see how they are protecting their data, but they want to use AI. And that's where Microsoft Copilot comes in. If you look at this place, you'll see that it is protecting your data. And if you look at the agreement between Microsoft, you'll see that it is also telling you that they're not going to be using your data to train the AI. And there are a lot of other security terms that you can also, agreement that you would also see there. So this is actually telling you that anything you're doing, you're getting it based on the information within your organization, and it is not being used to train the artificial intelligence. So now this is me logging into the portal, and I can see the Copilot chat. With the chat, I can always just use it to chat for or ask any question. I could probably just come and say, what is cloud computing? So I don't think I have anything about cloud computing, but let's just see. So it's just going to search, and then you can see it's defining cloud computing for me. So I do not have any information or document that has to do with cloud computing, and I'm using the work, but then you can see I can still get information, right? And then it's coming down here to tell me these are internal mentions. So it's telling me that while there were no internal document or meeting specifically defining cloud computing, several internal emails from Microsoft 365 Copilot highlights how cloud-based AI can transform. So this is probably coming from my email. So you can always click the link and you can see that it's showing me where the email that information came from that is giving me. So if I probably go here, okay, I think I have, if I go to apps and open my Outlook, it will show me, but let me just bring the Outlook here. So this account is still very fresh, nothing is here. But then if you see, you will see that this is what it was quoting from my internal tool. It's actually telling me that, hey, this was mentioned, and yeah, this is where we found it. Now, if we probably want to search the web, we can actually come here and still do the same thing. What is cloud computing? So now you can see this. This is we using the web. And if you come here, you'll see, oh, sorry, that already played. So good. So let me just do this. Let me just say, what is cloud computing? So the idea is while you're working with your internal information, you can as well, use the web to also research on stuffs you need on the web. Now, this is just me showing you the charts feature that comes with Copilot. I can also choose to tell it generate. So I'll just try to see if it will generate this for me. So this is me just trying to generate image with Copilot. So I'm just going to wait to see what it's going to do for me. So I tell people sometimes, I know this is a paid license, but some of these stuffs, you can still do it on Microsoft Edge. If you go to Copilot, the chart I showed you, you can do a lot there. You can even compare PDFs. There are a lot you can do there, and that is free. But this is more specifically for organization. So if you look at this, you will see that I got an image, and you can see what the image looks like. This is something I could say, okay, maybe I want to add it to my slide. And yeah, so this is me just showing you what we can do with charts in Copilot. Remember, when you're doing all of this, you are also looking at how your prompts are targeted at what you really want. Sometimes you can actually still ask Copilot, tell me the prompt to use. Tell me the prompt to use to generate an image of someone training for Microsoft Copilot 365, and it's going to give it to you. Sorry, please, I need to just update something immediately. Okay, sorry about that. I just needed to give someone an update. Okay, so this is the chat. And if I come here, you will see these are my previous conversation that I had with. So I can view all my conversation from this place. I can always come back to view my conversation. So this is just me showing you how to, just log in to Copilot. Now, if you're working in an organization, you probably have access to Word, Excel, your emails, and all of those stuffs. When you have access to those stuffs, you would probably sign in just like this. This is an email. You would have something like this. And when you have your email opened, you will see that there's this Copilot icon at the right. So what you would be looking at is you're trying to see, okay, I have emails. What do I do next? There are a lot of stuffs you can do next. One is you can choose to come here and you can see we have the charts here. So once you click on the charts, you will see you can use any of these to start up a prompt. Now you can see this is a schedule, right? So you can actually want to schedule a meeting with someone and you're using this to schedule the meeting. You can also probably just say, hey, I want to get information regarding, I gave an example, probably I have a thread or I have emails and I'm looking for the emails that had to do with, the onboarding of a particular client. I can actually use this to look for it. But because I don't have emails here, I could probably just say, let me just say, I'm going to use the discover. Let me just use this. I want to use this email. So I can just come here and go to charts and I will just say, let me just say, give me a summary . So what it just did now, it just gave me a summary of this particular email. Now, there are a lot of other prompts that we can use. So if you look at this place, those prompts that we saw up there, we can still see it. We can also add image and maybe create prompts that connect with the image we're uploading. Now, if we come here, you can see we still have the schedule. I don't have a lot of emails here, but you can always come here and start a prompt with find time to meet with. Then I could say, maybe I got an email from Fisayo and I just say find time to meet with Fisayo, and then it's going to try to create a time so I can schedule a meeting when Fisayo is available. So this prompt will actually help me do that. Now, if I still come back here, I still have like view prompts. I can want to catch up, right? So probably I had a particular meeting, just I've been using onboarding, right? So probably we're onboarding a client and we've been having like a lot of emails and I've lost connections with the email. I can always use this to just say, hey, what is the latest on? Then I'll just put the particular email. It's going to give me the latest summary of what has been happening. You can see summarized emails and team messages where I was mentioned. So if probably you're working in an organization where you have emails and they just mention you and say, hey, Solomon, please look at the email from this person and continue with that. Or probably they mentioned you on Teams. You can actually use this. And once you use this, it's going to, find where you were mentioned and then produce. So I don't have any emails where I was mentioned because this account is actually very new. But this is me just showing you stuff you can do with Copilot in Outlook. Now, if I come here, if I open any email, what we would always see is we have this summary at the top. If I come here, you'll see summary of my Copilot. So if I'm actually in the email and I am trying to, I'm in the email and it's just too long, I don't want to go through the thread or anything, I can just click on summary by Copilot. And what it just did, it just gave me a summary of this particular email. And if I want to ask Copilot questions, I can choose to ask them. Ask Copilot. If I come here to and I do summary, you see it's going to give me a summary of this particular email right here. So I don't need to, go through all the details. I'll just go through this and see what the summary is. Now, if maybe I have this email right now, and let me just click on Trusted Sender. If I have this email and I choose to respond to the email, once I click on respond to the email, I'm just waiting for this to load. You can see it's giving me the option to actually draft a response. And I can choose to hit my Alt and I. And then when I hit my Alt and I, if you even put the backward slash, yeah, that should be the backward slash. It should bring this up for you. Now you can see you have options to select from. Now, if I use thanks for sharing, it's going to create something for me around thanks for sharing. But I can choose to come here and just create a customized draft. Like, hey, tell Microsoft that I would like to know more about, the M365 Copilot April edition. And it's going to draft something for me. So if I click on this, thanks for sharing, you can see what it just did. It just created an email for me to respond to that email. And the email is, thank you for sharing an exciting update about Copilot, this new feature. So you can see I did not have to type all of this. All it did for me was just, get the summary that I can actually use to respond to that email. Now, if you scroll down here, you would also see I can hit retry. I can make it shorter. So sometimes I might look at it, sometimes you want to send an email and you say, this email is just too long for the person to read. Let me just try to reduce it. But sometimes I'll look at the email and, sometimes you want to look very serious at work and you're saying, oh, let me make this email longer. And it's just going to add more content for you. Now, it has added more content for me, right? I have options. You can see 1, 2. So I have options to pick from. It's doing a lot. Copilot is doing a lot for me. Even I don't know how much I would do in Teams, but my story in Teams, there was a long meeting I had, and I just came out of the meeting. And guess what? The CEO is telling me, what happened in the meeting? Can you just give me a rough breakdown because I need to speak to the other CEO? And I was just like, something else is burning. I need to attend to it. I just told myself, I turned on Copilot in that meeting. I went to Copilot, just AI notes. It gave me the summary. I just had to look at it, edit 1 or 2 things. In less than 10 minutes, I got the summary and I sent. And that solved the issue for me. That would have been something I would have been sitting to be typing, and I'll probably spend like another 1 hour typing summary to give an update. But Copilot did it in less than a minute. I got everything. So this is just me using Copilot on Outlook. Now, when you see this, I tell people there's a lot to explore here. I might not be able to show you everything, so I can touch other apps, but these are a lot of stuff, so you can always come and explore. You can see the drafts, so you can actually even type your own message and then come and tell Copilot to rewrite it. You see where we have custom, oh, let me discard that, but let me just leave that. So it wanted me to turn it on, but we can actually customize our own message and then put it there, and it's going to do everything for us. So it's because of time. I don't want to spend much time on Outlook. I'm just going to move to another app. So the next app I'll be moving to would be, let me go to PowerPoint. So I'm just going to open a blank page for PowerPoint. I'm going to bring PowerPoint here. So for PowerPoint, one thing you would always look for is this Copilot icon. On your computer, if you check, most computers have it just at the bottom of the taskbar. If you search for it, if I search for it, I'll probably see it Copilot. If I come here and say Copilot, so you can see I have it. I can choose to open it directly from my computer. You can even open it from your device. If you have the license, you can connect, download it, and open it on your device. There's the new Windows now, you will see the keyboard, there's Copilot that you can click on, and you'll be able to access Copilot. But now I just have this blank page and I have a presentation to make. So if I click on Copilot, you can see it's telling me create a presentation from a file. It's also create a presentation about. So it's actually giving me like something like a variable. Just put something that you want. You can see it's telling me how my prompt should look like. So if I have a file, I can say create a presentation from, then I attach the file. If I want to also create a presentation about something, I can actually write what I want the presentation, how I want the presentation should be, what I want the presentation should be about. That's what that is telling me. So it's also showing me how can Copilot help me. You can ask questions. So sometimes I tell people, when you think they say you need to know how your prompts should look like and all of that. I've been in a situation where I needed to design something complex and I needed Copilot to give me the answer. But I was just thinking, what prompt can I actually tell Copilot that I want so I can put it and get it? I asked Copilot for the prompt and Copilot gave me the prompt. I used the prompt and then I got exactly what I wanted. So Copilot can still help you. So anyhow you're getting your help, you can always still fall back to Copilot and then you will get the help you want. So what I want to do is I want to check if I have a file. Okay, let me just do this. Let me just come here and say, create a presentation from a file. Now you can see it is showing me files for my organization. So this is employee. I have a document called employee. What's the name of that document? Sentiment report. So I'm trying to create, it's a long document. When I go to Word, we'll see the document I'm using. So I have this document in Word and I want to create a slide. And the slide I want to create it from this document. I don't have time. My presentation is in the next 1 hour. So if I hit go now, we're just going to wait and see what this is going to look like. So it's taking that document. Remember, we are dealing with Copilots for M365, and this is for within our internal organization. So I'm accessing this file from my organization. So this is what Copilot is actually doing for me. So Copilot just created a slide for me. Now you can see how nice this, I don't think I'll be able to create this type of nice slide in 5 minutes. So you can see it just took that document, and from that document, I already have this executive summary, and I don't have these images. It generated the images for me and the images, it is actually making sure these images, they match with the content that you have in the slide. You can see training and development. You can see the images. It's actually telling us about that. So you can see workspace and environment. You can see it's actually picking the image that matches with what that particular um, layout is talking about. So if you see this now, you will see that I'm able to get my slide in less than, I don't even think this took up to a minute, and I got a nice slide. If I try to do it again, it's probably give me another one with another design. But after doing it, you will see what Copilot is telling me here. And it's telling me I can go to design. And when I go to design, I can choose to change. I can choose to change it the way I want with design. So you can see. So all I just need to do is change the design to what I want. And I have designs that fit in. So I did not actually spend time creating this slide, but in less than few minutes, I had my slide all set up. And all I need to do is just change the design if I want to change it. Now you can still go back to Copilot, ask it to do more stuff. You can probably still want to correct some words, you can do it. And if I don't even want to use a document, let me just go to File, New. I could choose to just say I don't even have any document prepared. And I want Copilot to actually create, let me just close this. I don't want to choose a design. So it wants me to choose a design template, or let me just say change your organization. Let me look for a design. I used to be a designer, but not now. Let me just put this. My at the bottom. Let me close this. I think it did not. Let me try it again. Or let me write, sorry. So I'm going to write, create a presentation. What's my presentation going to be about? Let me just say, quickly about how to I'm going to do that. I don't have a reference. You see, I can still add a reference. Let me try to see if it will pick my template for me. It's not picking. Let me go back. No, I want to use, let me try this. I'm just going to go back again. So I'm going to leave this. I'm just going to leave the default one and try to just say, so I'm just going to hit. So let me add this. So I do not want to use, let me close this. Let me try to just, let me just try to do it from here. Create a, so I'm going to hit enter from here instead of, Yeah, so I was trying to take this thing. Create a new. So for some reason, it is not. I don't know if it's going. So let me just move this away from this screen. I'll bring it back. I want to see if it is because I'm using a smaller monitor there. I just want to see if it is covering something. So if it is covering something, I'm just going to bring it back. Okay, yes, it was covering something. Let me show you. So the select is actually underneath. It was underneath the screen. So that's why I was clicking it, but the select is not coming up because I'm using a portable monitor. I'm not at home. So let me do this again. I want to see. I'm going to do this again. I think there should be a way I should be able to scroll down. Let me see. So I'm going to select the design. There's a select at the bottom. I'll select it, then bring it back here. So I don't spend time on it. I'm just going to select it. This monitor is actually small. Or I could switch my screen to this, then switch it back. I think that would be more. Yeah, let me do this. Let me switch my screen to where. So yes, so this is my screen. I'm going to bring this here. So this is what I was trying to show you. So if I come here and say create a presentation and I change the design, you can see I have the select underneath here. So I was double clicking if it will pick it, but it was not picking it. So I've just selected the design and then I'm going to say,
So, Solomon, it's not your screen. We're seeing your teams instead. That's what is shared.
oh, you're seeing my, oh, sorry about
It's
that.
your teams that is shared instead.
Oh, let me stop. And
But I think we'll get the idea, and if I think we have the idea that if one is doing it on his own, you should be able to see that select screen so that you
okay.
can move on. Just select a template and then yeah.
So I can just select this, and once I select this, you just need to type, and once you type it, that should be all done. So I would stop with PowerPoint now. Let me just go back to the screen I was on. This is Word document, Word, Microsoft Word. You will see this is the document I used in creating the slide. It was in my organization, so I was able to pull it up and create a slide. But now let's just look at this slide from Word. Now, if you open your Word, you will see that you would always still see Copilot at the top. And when you click on it, you have this interaction with Copilot. And one thing I like about this chat is it's already telling you what your prompt can look like, right? You see generate an image of, you can pick a description and put in there, list the pros and cons of the different projects I just mentioned in this document. So you might not have this, but then you can just come and, maybe you have some topics or subtopics you are talking about, you can use this to actually compare them, right? And if we come to this, summarize this document, we can just click on this, and what it would do for me, it is already summarizing this document for me. Now, instead of me reading this whole document, I can just go through the summary because I am able to get the summary from Copilot. Another thing I can do is you can always see once you click on the document here, there's this Copilot icon showing here. So you can see at this point is asking you what do you want Copilot to draft for you. I can choose to say, okay, let me close this and I just want to select this. And once I select this, I still have Copilot here. I have Copilot here. And once I click on it, you can say I can say auto rewrite. So even if I want to virtualize a table as a table, I can do that. So probably you've written stuff that you want to transfer into a table. You can choose to highlight them and then use Copilot to create the table instead of you doing that yourself. I can come to auto rewrite, and what Copilot is going to do is it just gave me another version of what I have here. So sometimes you see I'm just selecting a small portion of the document, but in the real world, most times when you're working, you would need like you have a bigger document that you need to just rewrite. And, with this, you see, I'm getting like 3 versions of this. So I can pick from the versions that I want. I can choose to replace it, or I can insert it below this particular file. So I can choose to just say replace. And once I click replace, what I just did, I replaced what I just wrote with Copilot. So this is one of the features that you can use in Copilot. So there are lots more. Sometimes you can also just, where most of this stuff works, right, is if you're writing sometimes, you, unlike before that, you have to think about your grammatical errors, trying to tell somebody to proofread for you. I don't know if most of you have had situations where maybe you're writing SOPs for school for yourself and you're paying somebody, please come and read this and all of that. You just need to go to your SOP, talk about yourself. You don't need to be that correct. Just put the right information about yourself and then tell it to rewrite it. And once you tell it to rewrite it for you, you will get like a very good summary. You can also review it. I tell people, don't depend on the AI. It's your Copilot. If you make mistake because you're using Copilot, right? You will be held accountable for the mistake, not Copilot. If you go and you say Copilot to rewrite something for you and then you did not review to just send it out, you can't go and be explaining to people, oh, I told Copilot to write it and I forgot to. That's not their business. So once you do stuffs like this, myself, I would still reiterate. The reason I'm trying to reiterate is just to be sure that the context still aligns with what I asked Copilot to perform. So that is something that I would recommend you do once you're doing all of this. Now, there's something else we need to go to just because of time. I'm going to jump to Excel. Let me pull Excel here. So I have an Excel sheet I downloaded. Let me open it. So I downloaded a random Excel sheet and then I'm going to print this here. So this is the Excel sheet I downloaded. Now you can see this Excel sheet has a lot of information, a lot. I'm just opening this so it shows the figure. Now, when we look at this Excel sheet, we would see that there's a lot of data here, a lot of cells, and we still have Copilot. Let's see what Copilot is going to tell us. Now, do you see what Copilot is telling you? Say for you to use Copilot with your Excel sheet, you need to turn on autosave. So I have to turn that on. So I've just turned that on. So once I do that, and you can see I just needed to toggle the button here, but immediately I clicked on it, it did the job for me by toggling it on. So you can see I can create formulas, I can summarize using pivotal tables or charts, I can, use advanced analysis. There's a lot. So you can see I can say apply color and formatting. So just probably I'm looking at this cell now. Let me look at this. I'm just going to go to gross sales. So I can come here and say highlight all cells with over 300,000 in gross sales. So I wanted to, probably I'm trying to look at gross sales, the figures that have the, the figures that have over that are greater than 300,000. Now, it gave me the formula, right? It's telling me, hey, this is how I can do it. Sell value greater than this, apply. So if I click on hit apply now, so you can see what it just did for me. You know, sometimes we've worked in office where they say highlight a particular place in the cell. Now, do you see how long this document is? Do you know how long it will take me? It's either I'll be looking for the formula, but right now, I don't even need to know the formula to do this. Some people, they know the formula. They've been using Excel for some time. But the fact that I know how to use Excel to an extent and I know what I need, I can just tell it to highlight it. And guess what? It did the job for me. This cell is very long, over 400, and in less than 30 seconds, I'm able to highlight the cells that I want to highlight under a particular column. So I can also choose to say, I want to get the sum of gross sales. I need the formula. So you see, suggest a formula for a column, right? I can say, I need the formula to get the total, the sum of all the amount in gross sale. So I'm going to send this in. I want to see what the formula looks like. Let's see. So you see, just give me the formula that I need. So if I copy this now, I just need to look for where I want to put this formula. I want to put this is where I need the total. I need the total at the very bottom. This should be the right place. So if I paste this here, I just copy that. If I paste this here and I hit enter, I'm able to get that. So you can do this with Excel. You know, if you know how to use Excel, you can do that. But I'm just a novice. I'm trying to use Excel. I know Excel to some extent, and then I'm trying to do this. I don't really need to stress about this. Copilot is assisting me with doing that. Now, if I choose to say, I want to get like a virtual representation of this, it's long I actually use Excel personally. I've not used Excel for a long time. But then I'm just trying to say, summarize using, so I can just click on this. I want to get a summary of this. And now it has done a summary, but when you look at it, you can see this. This is a summary. I can choose to add this on a new sheet. So if I click add a new sheet, now this is a summary of everything. It just gave me the summary of everything. So I can say represent. Let me just come back here. So I can say, let me try this, represent the summary of the sales by segment in a visual chart. So I will just try this. Let's see how this is going to look like. So this is not doing this. Okay, I need to restructure my this. I don't want to do it. I want I want Copilot to do it for me. Let me restructure this. So I'm going to go with so let me just type.
So I think you're still in the pivots page. Maybe you need to return back to the data. Yeah, to the
True.
sheet.
Yeah, true. Let me just that's true. Let me try this again. That's true. So let me hit this and send this. So yeah, that was my mistake. So you see, it's already doing that. So those are some of the little things you also need to pay attention to. So you can see, just created a summary of it, and this is the visual representation of it. So sometimes you might want to create this. You have to go in by yourself to create all of these charts. But if the good thing about this is, I tell people, if I'm very good at using Excel, my prompt also will be very good because I know what I want to do. I know what I can do with Excel. If I just give somebody that does not know anything about Excel, they don't know that you can take the sum of a particular column and all of that. They would look at Copilot, they don't know what to do, right? And Copilot is not going to do the job for you. So you have to tell Copilot what to do. And when you're actually giving those instructions, those prompts, they're also coming from the level of understanding of you as an expert that uses the system. So it has to be balanced. You're asking questions, and the questions you're asking is based on the knowledge you already have about the system. And that way you can actually ask like the right questions, and Copilot will be there to perform the right tasks for you as well. So this, I would say, is for Excel. Now, I'm just going to be wrapping up this with Teams. For Teams, I don't have Copilot license, but I will still say thank you to Frank Falvey. I just asked him for the license, and in less than a few minutes, he gave me a license, and that's what I'm using to present. So, but I was not able to reproduce a lot of stuff on this particular license. But if you look at this, what I could do was I created a meeting between myself and this meeting and these teams. I was sitting here alone. I didn't have anybody to help me. So I would mute my mic, mute talk. I was just doing all of that. But when I was in that meeting, I turned on my Copilot. So once I clicked on it, you can also still ask it, hey, give me the summary of meetings, charts, and all of that, right? But what I did was I turned it on during the meeting. Now, this is not me recording the meeting. It's me just turning on the AI tool. You're going to see it once you join the meeting. Immediately I did that, the next thing I went through the meeting, and after the meeting, I ended the meeting. Now we always have like transcripts in a meeting. Let me bring this. It just popped up on the new screen. So if you look at this transcript in this meeting, it's just telling me this is AI generated, and it's just seeing what I was saying. I was just talking random stuff. So forget the figures you're seeing there. I hope to get them one day, but it's imagination right now. So I was just calling figures and talking to myself in the meeting. And the next thing I did was I got here and I clicked on AI notes. This was not here, but immediately I clicked on AI notes. It gave me a breakdown of what the meeting was all about. Now, if you see it, it will say budget breakdown, which was what I was talking about in the meeting. So I proposed that a breakdown for the previous budget be provided to understand the company's earning and to create accurate budget for upcoming quarter. Now you see what this thing did for me. This is exactly what it did in my meeting that I needed a review next, like they needed the CEO needed an update, and I had something urgent to do. You see this breakdown, it was longer than this, but it was perfect. In fact, when I sent it that fast, the CEO asked me, you used Copilot for this? I said, of course I used Copilot. He said, because this is actually clean. He first of all said clean, and he stepped back and asked me, you used Copilot? Because it took me less than a few minutes to just give him the breakdown of everything that happened. He was not in the meeting. So if you look at this, you can see how the breakdown looks right now. And if you open them, you can see you can see there's we have bullet points for each of them. You can see meeting postponement. So guest is this account I'm using. So if you see guest, like the name of this account is guest. So that's the account is referring to. Will be postponed and the meeting will be. Guest mentioned the topic will be. So this way you can actually use it. So you can also use it to search for within chats that you have with someone. You can use it to check where you were mentioned and a lot more. So to also just to add to it, if you don't have Copilot license for M365, go and explore the one they have in Edge browser. You would love it. You will enjoy using it. Thank you
All
so much
right.
for your time.